Alex sat in his small, quiet apartment, the rain tapping gently against the windows. The storm had been fierce, with thunder that rumbled through the sky and lightning flashing in the distance. He had just finished dinner when there was a knock at the door. At first he thought it was the wind playing tricks, but then the knock came again, louder this time. Pushing himself up from the couch, Alex walked toward the door, wondering who could be out in such a storm. He opened the door and standing. In the doorway was a woman. She was unlike anyone he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered with an unusual, almost metallic glow, and her eyes were a bright, vivid green that seemed to reflect the storm outside. "I'm sorry to bother you," she said in a soft voice. "But my ship has crashed. I need shelter for a while. Can you help me?" Alex was taken aback. This was not the kind of person he expected to meet on a quiet night. But something about her calm presence despite the situation, made him trust her. He hesitated for a moment, but then he stepped aside and let her in. "Come in. You look like you need help," Alex said, closing the door behind her. The woman nodded, stepping into the warmth of his apartment. As she moved, Alex noticed the faint glow of her skin, like it was charged with energy. Her clothing was torn in places, revealing a strange, almost alien material that didn't look like anything he had ever seen before. She was hurt. Blood stained part of her sleeve, but her posture was strong, and she seemed to be holding herself together. "I'm Zara," she said, looking at him with a calm expression. "I don't want to be a burden. I can leave if you're not comfortable with this." "No," Alex quickly replied, noticing the pain in her voice. "You can stay. You're hurt, and this storm looks like it's going to last. I can't just let you out there." Zara offered him a small smile, and for a moment Alex felt like she wasn't as foreign as she seemed. He guided her to the couch and went to the kitchen to get some water. When he returned, he saw that she was carefully examining her arm, trying to stop the bleeding with a piece of fabric. "Let me help with that," Alex said gently, walking over to her. He knelt beside her and began to work on her arm, trying to clean the wound as best as he could. "I should be able to heal faster than humans, but I need to rest," Zara explained quietly. "My species, we have different ways of healing, but it takes energy. Rest will help." Alex nodded, trying to keep his focus on the task at hand. Her skin felt cool under his touch, and he couldn't help but wonder who she was and where she came from. She wasn't from Earth, he could tell that much, but he didn't ask her about it. She seemed like she wanted to keep things simple for now, and that was fine with him. Once he had finished cleaning the wound, Alex helped her lie down on the couch, making sure she was comfortable. "You should rest. You'll be okay," he said, sitting back in a chair across from her. Zara's eyes softened, and she looked up at him. "Thank you, Alex. You don't know how much this means to me. I didn't know where else to go." Alex smiled faintly, his heart warming to her gratitude. "No problem. Everyone needs help sometimes." For the next hour, they sat in silence, the storm outside still raging. Alex was used to being alone, but tonight, the quiet was different. Having Zara in his home made it feel less lonely, more alive. And though he didn't know why, he felt a strange connection to her, something deep and unspoken that he couldn't explain. "Where are you from?" Alex asked, breaking the silence. Zara hesitated for a moment before answering. "I come from a planet far away. My mission was to observe Earth, to learn about your people, but my ship was damaged before I could complete it. Now I'm stranded here. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just needed help." Alex raised an eyebrow, surprised. "Wait, you're not human?" Zara nodded slowly. "No, I'm not, but I promise, I mean no harm." Alex took a deep breath, trying to process everything she had said. "So, you're like an alien?" Zara looked at him, her eyes filled with sincerity. Yes, but not all aliens are dangerous. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just needed somewhere safe for a while. Alex didn't know what to say. He had always believed in the possibility of life beyond Earth, but hearing someone say it out loud made it feel real in a way he hadn't expected. He studied Zara's face, her calm demeanor, and wondered what had brought her to Earth. What had her mission really been? Why had she come here, and why had she trusted him? Well, Alex said, finally finding his voice again. You're safe here, at least for tonight. You can stay as long as you need. Zara smiled, a look of relief washing over her face. Thank you, Alex. I don't know what I would have done without you. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. It wasn't just because she was a guest in his home, but something more. Something he couldn't put his finger on. Don't mention it, Alex said, smiling back at her. As the storm continued to howl outside, the two of them sat in silence, the distance between them shrinking bit by bit. Alex could sense that something had changed, though he couldn't quite figure out what. He had invited an alien into his home, but it didn't feel like it mattered anymore. It was just him and Zara now. Two people, one human, one alien, trying to survive in a world full of uncertainty. Zara closed her eyes, her breathing steadying as she drifted into a light sleep. Alex stayed awake for a while longer, watching over her. There was something about her presence that felt different, like the storm wasn't the only thing that had changed that night. And as the night wore on, Alex couldn't help but wonder what would happen next. This was just the beginning, but the road ahead was uncertain. He had no idea how much his life was about to change, but he felt a strange sense of calm wash over him, knowing that whatever happened, he wouldn't be facing it alone. The next morning, Alex woke up early, his body still adjusting to the strange reality of the previous night. The storm had passed, and sunlight was beginning to stream through the windows. He stretched and glanced over at the couch where Zara had slept. She was still there, curled up peacefully, her breathing soft and steady. For a moment, he just stood there, watching her, unsure of what he should do next. He had never had someone stay with him, especially not someone so different. As quietly as he could, Alex made himself a cup of coffee. The sound of the kettle boiling and the clink of cups was the only noise in the room. Zara hadn't stirred yet, and Alex took the time to gather his thoughts. He wasn't sure what to make of the whole situation. An alien in his home? It felt unreal, but at the same time, it didn't feel wrong. Zara had been nothing but kind and gentle, even in the face of her own troubles. Finally, after a few minutes, Zara woke up. Her eyes fluttered open and she blinked a few times, adjusting to the light. Alex didn't want to startle her, so he called out softly, "Morning, Zara. How are you feeling?" Zara stretched slightly before sitting up, her face still a little tired but calm. "I feel better," she replied, her voice still quiet but warm. "Thank you for letting me stay here." Alex smiled. "Of course. I'm just glad you're okay. How's your arm? Does it still hurt?" Zara looked down at her arm where the bandage Alex had put on her last night was now stained with dried blood. She gingerly touched the injury, testing it. "It's better. I think it'll heal quickly now." Alex walked over with a fresh towel and some antiseptic, just to be sure. He gently removed the old bandage and cleaned the wound. Zara watched him, and for a moment, their eyes met. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a connection that felt deeper than just helping each other out. Zara's green eyes seemed to search Alex's face, as if she was seeing him for the first time. "Thank you for everything," she said, her voice a little softer. "I'm not used to this kindness." Alex looked at her and shook his head. "It's nothing. I just did what anyone would do." Zara smiled faintly. but there was something in her eyes that made Alex feel as if she was trying to convey more. Not everyone would. And you didn't have to help me. But you did. That means something. Alex paused, his heart skipping a beat. He hadn't thought of it that way. To him, it was just basic human decency. But to Zara, it felt like so much more. It wasn't just a simple act of kindness. It was a bridge between two worlds, two different people. After a few moments of silence, Zara carefully stood up, testing her balance. Her legs were a little unsteady, but Alex helped her to her feet. They both moved toward the small kitchen table, where Alex had set down a simple breakfast. It wasn't much, just some bread, fruit, and eggs, but it was enough for the two of them. They ate together in silence, the only sounds being the soft clink of utensils and the occasional hum of the city outside. Zara seemed to enjoy the food, but Alex noticed she ate with a certain cautiousness, as if she wasn't entirely sure about human food. Still, she smiled and thanked him after every bite. As they ate, Zara seemed lost in thought, her gaze drifting toward the window. Alex couldn't help but wonder what she was thinking. She had shared a little about her mission last night, but he knew there was still so much she hadn't said. The more he learned about her, the more questions he had. Zara finally broke the silence. Alex, I don't know how long I can stay here. My people will be looking for me. They'll know I'm missing soon. I can't hide forever. Alex set his fork down and looked at her. What are you going to do? I don't know, Zara replied honestly. I thought I could finish my mission. But after meeting you, I don't think I can just go back. You've shown me something I didn't expect. I never imagined humans could be so kind. I thought you would be different. Alex frowned slightly. Different? How? Zara hesitated before answering, choosing her words carefully. When I was sent here, I thought humans would be like the stories I've heard. Selfish, dangerous, always fighting. But you, she paused, glancing at him. You've shown me a side of humans I didn't know existed. You've helped me without asking for anything in return. Alex was surprised by her words. He had never thought of himself as anything special, just an average guy trying to get by. I don't know about all that. I just did what felt right. Zara studied him for a moment, her gaze intense. That's exactly it. You did what felt right, not because of some mission or goal, but because you cared. And that's more than I've ever seen from my own people. Alex didn't know how to respond to that. It was hard to process. This alien who had traveled across the stars was telling him that his simple kindness was something special. It made him feel both humbled and confused at the same time. Zara, I'm just one person, Alex said quietly. But I want you to know, whatever happens, you're not alone. You don't have to face this by yourself. Zara's eyes softened at his words, and for the first time since arriving, she allowed herself to truly relax. She smiled at him, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. Thank you, Alex. I don't know what I would do without you. The warmth in her smile made Alex's heart skip again. There was something undeniable between them. They had only known each other for a short time, yet in this moment, it felt like they had known each other forever. The bond that was forming between them wasn't just about shelter or kindness. It was about trust, understanding, and something deeper that neither of them could quite name yet. As they finished their breakfast, the reality of Zara's situation slowly began to set in. She had to face her past, her mission, and the consequences of her decisions. But for now, in this quiet moment, she had found a place of safety with Alex. And no matter what came next, that was something worth holding on to. The days passed by slowly, and Zara's bond with Alex grew stronger. Their routine had settled into a comfortable pattern. Alex went to work during the day, and Zara spent her time reading about Earth's history and culture, fascinated by the world she had come to know. In the evenings, they would talk for hours, sharing stories of their lives, though Zara always held back a part of herself. She had never told Alex the full truth about her mission. There were things she had kept hidden, things that were too dangerous to speak of. But that night, as they sat in the living room, the silence between them was heavy. Zara had been quiet all evening, her mind clearly far away. Alex noticed it immediately. He couldn't ignore the way her eyes seemed distant, like she was lost in a sea of thoughts she couldn't escape. "Zara," Alex said softly, breaking the silence. "You've been quiet tonight. Is everything okay?" Zara looked up at him, her expression unreadable. For a long moment she said nothing. Then, with a deep sigh, she stood up and walked over to the window, looking out at the city below. The lights of the buildings twinkled in the distance, but she couldn't focus on them. Her mind was on her home, her world, and the people she had left behind. "I can't keep lying to you, Alex," she said finally, her voice low and heavy. "There are things you don't know, things I've been hiding from you." Alex stood up and walked over to her, sensing the gravity of her words. "You can tell me anything, Zara. You know that." Zara turned to face him, her eyes full of conflict. "I've told you part of the truth, but not all of it. I didn't want to burden you with the full story. I didn't want to scare you away." Alex frowned. "You can't keep it inside forever. I can't help you if I don't know everything." Zara closed her eyes for a moment, gathering her thoughts. She hadn't planned to tell him this. She hadn't wanted to get him involved in the danger that was following her, but she couldn't hide it anymore. He deserved to know the truth. "I wasn't just sent here to observe Earth," Zara said quietly. "I was sent here to spy. My people, the ones I belong to, they're at war, and I was supposed to gather information on your planet, about your defenses, your technology, everything. I was supposed to learn as much as I could and report back." Alex's heart dropped in his chest. He had known Zara was different, but he had never imagined this. She wasn't just a traveler lost in a storm. She had been sent here for a purpose, an important, dangerous mission. It felt like everything he had come to know about her was shifting beneath his feet. "I didn't know what I would find when I came here," Zara continued, her voice trembling slightly. "I never expected to meet someone like you. You've made me question everything I was taught. I never thought humans could be so kind, so real." Alex stepped closer to her, trying to process what she had just said. "But why stay? Why not just finish your mission and go back to your people?" Zara turned away from him, her eyes filled with regret. "Because I don't want to go back. I don't want to be part of a war that takes lives. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. But I can't just forget who I am. I can't run from the truth. My people will come for me. They'll find me. And when they do, I'll have to face the consequences." Alex was quiet for a long moment, taking in everything she had said. He could see the pain in her eyes, the way her entire body seemed to carry the weight of the choices she had made. He wanted to say something to make it better, but words felt useless. There was no easy solution to this. "But you're here now," Alex said finally. "You don't have to go back to that. We can figure something out. You don't have to face this alone." Zara shook her head, a bitter smile crossing her lips. "You don't understand. You're human. You don't know what my people are like. If I betray them, if I refuse to return, they'll hunt me down. They won't show mercy. They'll do whatever it takes to get me back." Alex's heart clenched in his chest as he watched her struggle with the weight of her words. He couldn't imagine what it must be like for her, being caught between two worlds, between what she had been taught and the reality of what she felt now. But he wasn't about to let her face this alone. "You're not alone, Zara," Alex said firmly. "I won't let anything happen to you. You've trusted me, And now it's my turn to stand by you. No matter what comes next, we'll face it together." Zara looked at him, her eyes wide, as though she had never expected him to say those words. She had been waiting for him to turn away, to be scared, but he wasn't. He was offering her something she hadn't even realized she needed: hope. "Alex," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can live with the consequences of my choices. But I don't want to lose you. I don't want to go back to that life." Alex stepped forward and took her hands in his. "You don't have to go back. You're here now, and you have a choice. We have a choice. I don't know what your people will do, but we'll figure out a way to keep you safe, I promise." Tears welled up in Zara's eyes, and for the first time since meeting Alex, she allowed herself to feel vulnerable. She had been so strong, so determined to stick to her mission, but now she saw another path, a path where she didn't have to be alone, a path where she could be with Alex. "I want to stay," she whispered. "I want to stay with you." Alex's heart soared. "Then stay. We'll figure this out together." In that moment, it didn't matter what the future held. They were facing the unknown, but they were facing it together. Zara didn't know how things would turn out, but for the first time in a long time, she felt like maybe, just maybe, she was finally where she was meant to be. It had been a few days since Zara arrived at Alex's apartment. Each day, they settled into a new rhythm, an unspoken understanding forming between them. The air felt different now, lighter, more comfortable. Zara's injuries were healing, and her confidence was returning. But even as her physical wounds closed, a new kind of tension lingered, one that neither of them could ignore. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex was in the kitchen preparing dinner. Zara sat by the window, her eyes gazing out at the city. The streets were busy, the usual sounds of traffic and people drifting up to their apartment. But inside, it felt like the world outside had stopped. It was just the two of them, their quiet presence filling the room. Zara's thoughts were far from the meal Alex was preparing. She couldn't stop thinking about the choice she had made. Staying here, with him, meant she had turned her back on her mission. It wasn't just the risk of disappointing her people, it was the uncertainty of what would happen next. She had never thought she would stay on Earth for this long, never imagined feeling so connected to someone like Alex. Her mind drifted back to the first night she arrived. She had been lost, injured, and desperate. But now things were different. She wasn't just someone hiding from danger anymore. She had come to care for Alex, and that feeling was growing stronger with each passing day. But the more she cared, the more she feared the inevitable. She had to leave. Her people would come for her. They would want answers. Zara turned to Alex, who was chopping vegetables at the counter. "Alex," she began softly, her voice low. He looked up, meeting her gaze. "I need to tell you something." Alex raised an eyebrow, setting down the knife. "What is it?" "I don't belong here," she said quietly, her words heavier than she intended. "I wasn't supposed to stay. I was sent here for a purpose, to observe Earth, to gather information. But I never imagined that I would meet someone like you." Alex stepped closer, his expression serious. "Zara, I don't understand." "Why does it matter? You're here now. You don't have to go back." She shook her head, feeling the weight of her decision pressing down on her chest. "It's not that simple. My people, my world, they'll come looking for me. I have responsibilities, Alex. I can't just ignore that. I can't stay forever." Alex paused, his thoughts running in different directions. "But what if you could? What if you didn't have to go back?" Zara's eyes softened as she watched him. She had never expected Alex to say something like that. Of course, he couldn't fully understand. He wasn't from her world. but there was something in his words that made her wonder. What if she didn't have to return? What if there was another way? For a moment, the silence between them stretched out. The tension was thick, but it wasn't the uncomfortable kind. It was something deeper. Zara could feel the pulse of something she hadn't expected, something that had been growing since the night she first came to Alex's door. "I don't know if I can stay, Alex," Zara whispered, "but I want to." Alex met her gaze, his voice steady. "I think you should stay. I know I want you here." Zara felt a strange warmth flood through her. It wasn't just the words themselves. It was the sincerity in his voice, the way he truly cared. But she knew that this wasn't just about her. It wasn't just about her wanting to stay either. There was so much more to consider, so many risks, so many unknowns. "I'm not like you," Zara said softly. "I can't stay here forever. My world, it's nothing like yours." Alex nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. "I know, but that doesn't change what we have. Doesn't change how I feel about you." Zara's heart skipped a beat. She had felt it too, the pull between them growing stronger each day. But what did it mean? What was she supposed to do with these feelings? She wasn't supposed to care about a human. She wasn't supposed to feel this way. Before she could speak, Alex continued, "Zara, I'm not asking you to forget your world. I'm not asking you to give up everything. But whatever happens next, I want to be there with you. We'll figure this out. Together." Zara's eyes shone with something deeper than gratitude. She stepped closer to him, her heart racing. For the first time in days, the uncertainty she had been holding on to seemed to fade. Maybe, just maybe, Alex was right. Maybe they could figure this out together. "I don't know what will happen next," she whispered. "But right now, I don't want to think about anything else. I just want to be here with you." Alex reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. He felt a surge of emotion, something strong, something real. "Then be here. Stay with me. Just for now." The air between them shifted. The space that had once felt so uncertain now felt filled with possibility. Zara didn't know what the future held, but she knew this moment was important, and for the first time in a long time, she wasn't afraid. They spent the evening together, eating dinner and talking about everything and nothing. The outside world seemed so far away, as if the storm had blown it all away. Zara laughed at Alex's jokes, and Alex found himself smiling in a way he hadn't in a long time. They were just two people, two beings, enjoying each other's company. As the evening wore on, Alex grew more aware of the way Zara's presence filled the room. It wasn't just about her being an alien or different from him. It was about how she made him feel, how she had made his life feel fuller, more meaningful. He knew things wouldn't be easy, that the world outside would soon catch up to them, but for now, that didn't matter. Zara looked at Alex, her gaze tender. "You've been so kind to me. I don't deserve it." Alex smiled, his voice steady. "Yes, you do, and you don't have to be alone anymore." In that moment, everything seemed to fall into place. They didn't have all the answers, but they had each other. And for now, that was enough. The days after Zara's confession felt heavy, like a storm cloud hanging over them, waiting to break. The bond between her and Alex had deepened, but with every moment they spent together, the truth about her past weighed more heavily on her. She had chosen to stay, to be with Alex, but her decision didn't erase the dangers that followed her. Her people were searching for her, and it was only a matter of time before they found her. Zara tried to push these thoughts aside as much as she could. She focused on the time she had with Alex, enjoying the quiet moments they shared, the way he made her laugh, and how he treated her like she was just another person, no different from him. But deep down, She knew she couldn't escape the reality of her situation. One evening, as they sat on the couch, Alex turned to her with a serious expression on his face. "Zara, we need to talk about what happens next. I know you've been trying to avoid it, but we can't keep pretending nothing's going to change. Your people will come for you, won't they?" Zara's heart sank at his words. She had been hoping to avoid this conversation, but she knew it was inevitable. "Yes," she said quietly, her voice trembling. "They will come. I don't know when, but I can feel it. I can feel them getting closer." Alex took her hand in his grip firm, but there was a trace of fear in his eyes. "What are we going to do when they show up? What if they try to take you away from me?" Zara shook her head, her thoughts racing. "I don't know, Alex. I don't want to leave you. But I can't hide forever. I was never meant to stay here. I didn't think this would happen. I didn't think I would." She cut herself off, struggling to find the right words. Alex could see the pain in her eyes, the internal struggle she was facing. "Zara, I don't want you to go. I want you here with me. But I don't want you to put yourself in danger. What if we run? What if we go somewhere far away and hide? You don't have to face this alone." Zara looked down at their hands, the warmth of his touch grounding her. She longed for that solution, to just run away and escape the looming threat. But she knew it wasn't that simple. Her people were powerful. They would stop at nothing to find her and bring her back. And even if they did manage to escape, they could never truly hide from the truth of who Zara was and what she had done. "I wish it were that easy," Zara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But my people won't stop. If they know I've betrayed them, they'll hunt me down. And if they find us, they won't just come after me, they'll come after you too." Alex's heart clenched at the thought. He didn't care about the danger. All he cared about was Zara, and the idea of losing her was unbearable. "I don't care what they do. I'm not letting them take you. I'll fight for you. I'll do whatever it takes." Zara's eyes filled with tears at his words. She had never expected someone to care so much about her. Alex didn't know the consequences of getting involved in her world, and Zara didn't want to drag him into the chaos. She had seen the violence her people were capable of. They wouldn't hesitate to do whatever was necessary to get what they wanted, and that scared her more than anything. "You don't understand," Zara said, her voice breaking. "You don't know what they're capable of. If they find us, they won't stop until they've taken me back. They'll hurt anyone who stands in their way." Alex pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly. He didn't know what to say to make things better. All he knew was that he couldn't lose her. Not now, not ever. "Then we'll fight them together," Alex said, his voice steady. "I'm not going to let them take you from me. We'll find a way to stop them." Zara closed her eyes, leaning into his embrace. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that together they could overcome anything. But deep down, she knew the odds were against them. She had already made enemies by refusing to return to her people. There was no escaping the consequences of her actions. No matter how much Alex wanted to protect her, there was only so much he could do. For the next few days, they prepared for what they knew was coming. Alex did his best to reassure Zara, to keep her focused on the future. But every time she looked at him, she saw the fear in his eyes. They both knew they couldn't hide forever. But the question was, how long could they last before Zara's past caught up with them? Zara spent hours researching her people's technology, trying to find any way to escape or fight back. But every solution she considered seemed impossible. She couldn't keep running. She couldn't keep hiding. Sooner or later, they would find her, and Alex would be dragged into the mess that followed. One afternoon, as Alex was out running errands, Zara received an encrypted message on her communicator. She hesitated for a moment before opening it. The message was from one of her allies, someone who had been helping her stay hidden. The message was brief but clear. They're coming. Prepare yourself. You can't run anymore. Zara's heart sank as she read the message. She knew this day would come, but the reality of it hit her harder than she expected. She had no choice now but to face the truth. She had to leave. For Alex's safety and for her own, she had to end this. She couldn't let him get hurt because of her. When Alex returned, he found Zara standing by the window, her face pale, her hands trembling as she held the communicator. "Zara?" Alex called softly, his voice laced with concern. "What is it?" "What happened?" Zara turned to face him, her eyes filled with sorrow. "They're coming, Alex. They know where I am. I can't stay here anymore. It's too dangerous." Alex's heart pounded in his chest. "What are you talking about?" "You don't have to go. We can fight them together." Zara shook her head, tears falling down her cheeks. "I have to protect you, Alex. I can't put you in danger anymore. This is my fight, not yours." Alex stepped forward, determination in his eyes. "Zara, we've been through this. I'm not letting you go alone. Whatever happens, we face it together." Zara took a deep breath, her voice barely above a whisper. "I love you, Alex. I always will. But this is something I have to do on my own." Zara stood by the window, looking out at the city, her thoughts racing. The message she had received from her ally weighed heavily on her mind. She knew it was only a matter of time before her people found her. The idea of running, of hiding, forever, felt impossible. She had never expected to become so deeply connected to someone, especially someone like Alex. She didn't want to hurt him, but the reality was clear. Her past was coming for her, and she had no choice but to face. The door creaked open behind her, and she turned to find Alex standing in the doorway. His face was serious, his eyes full of concern. "Zara," he said softly, "we need to talk." She nodded and turned back to the window, feeling a lump form in her throat. She didn't want to burden him with her fears. He had already done so much for her, and now she was about to drag him into a dangerous situation. "I know what you're thinking," Alex continued, stepping closer to her. "But you don't have to do this alone. We can fight together. You don't have to leave me." Zara shook her head, her heart aching. "Alex, I don't want to leave you. But I can't keep running forever. My people will come. They'll find me. And if they find you, they'll hurt you too." Alex reached out and took her hand gently, his touch warm and steady. "I won't let them hurt you. And I won't let them hurt me. We're stronger than you think. We can face this together." Zara looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity in his expression. He was determined, but she knew he didn't fully understand what he was asking. Her world was dangerous, and she had made enemies, powerful enemies. If they came after her, they wouldn't hesitate to do whatever it took to get her back. They wouldn't care about Alex. "You don't know what they're capable of," Zara said quietly. "They'll stop at nothing to get me back. If they have to destroy everything in their path, they will. And I can't let that happen to you." Alex's face softened, and he stepped closer. "I don't care what they do to me. I care about you. I love you, Zara, and I'm not going to let you face this alone. Whatever happens, we face it together." Zara's heart skipped a beat. She had never heard him say those words so clearly, so confidently. She had known how she felt about him, but hearing him say it aloud made everything more real, more complicated. She loved him too. But was love enough to protect them from the dangers that awaited them? She took a deep breath and let go of his hand, turning away from him. "I don't want to drag you into this. I can't bear the thought of you getting hurt." "Because of me!" Alex gently turned her back to face him. "Zara, you've already dragged me into this. The moment I helped you, I made a choice. I'm not going anywhere. You're not alone in this." Tears welled up in Zara's eyes as she looked at him. His words, his commitment to her, made her heart swell with emotion. She had never thought she would find someone who would fight for her, someone who would stand by her no matter what. But Alex was different. He was real, and his love was real. "I love you too, Alex," Zara whispered, her voice shaking. "But I don't want to be the reason you get hurt." Alex cupped her face gently, his thumbs brushing away the tears that fell. "You're not the reason I would get hurt. If I get hurt, it will be because I'm fighting for you, and I'd rather be with you, fighting by your side, than live in a world where I'm alone without you." Zara looked into his eyes, seeing the depth of his commitment. He wasn't just saying the words, he meant them. And in that moment, Zara realized something. She didn't have to fight alone. They could fight together, and maybe, just maybe, they could find a way to survive this. Maybe they could overcome the forces that were closing in on them. She nodded slowly, her heart full of conflicting emotions. "Okay, we fight together, but we need a plan. We need to figure out what to do when they come." Alex smiled, a small but genuine smile. "We'll figure it out. We always do." Zara looked at him, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in days. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't afraid. She had someone by her side, someone who believed in her, someone who would fight for her, and that gave her the strength to face whatever was coming. They spent the next few hours talking about their options, trying to come up with a plan. Zara shared everything she knew about her people's technology and the methods they used to track her. She didn't know everything, but she knew enough to make a plan. They couldn't run forever, but they could hide, at least for a little while. As the night grew darker, they made the decision to leave the city. It wasn't safe here anymore. Zara didn't know how long they could stay hidden, but she knew they had to keep moving. They packed what little they could carry and made arrangements for a place to go. Before they left, Alex pulled Zara into his arms, holding her close. "No matter what happens, we'll be okay," he whispered. "As long as we're together." Zara closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of his embrace. She believed him. For the first time, she believed that they could make it through this. They didn't know what the future held, but they knew they would face it together. And that was enough. As they walked out into the night, hand in hand, Zara felt a sense of resolve settle in her chest. Whatever came next, she was ready to face it with Alex by her side. They didn't have all the answers, but they had each other, and that was all they needed to keep fighting. The night was still, but there was a sense of urgency in the air. Alex and Zara stood at the edge of the city, looking out at the endless stretch of wilderness ahead of them. They had decided to leave everything behind: Alex's apartment, their routine, the life they had started to build together. But it was a decision they had to make. There was no other choice. Zara glanced over at Alex, who was holding a small bag with their belongings. Her heart ached as she watched him. He had given up his comfortable life to be with her, to fight beside her. It was a sacrifice she never expected, but one she could never take lightly. She had no idea what was waiting for them, but with Alex by her side, she felt a glimmer of hope. "Are you sure about this?" Zara asked softly, her voice filled with doubt. "We don't know what's ahead. We don't know how long we can hide or if we can ever be safe again." Alex turned to face her, his eyes steady and filled with determination. "I'm sure. I'd rather be with you, facing the unknown, than live without you. We can handle whatever comes next. We'll figure it out, just like we always do." Zara couldn't help but smile at him. He always made her feel like anything was possible, but she also knew that the challenges they would face were bigger than anything they had ever dealt with. Her people were relentless. They would search for her, and when they found her, they wouldn't stop until they had her back. The fear of losing Alex, of putting him in harm's way, kept her up at night. But the bond they shared was stronger than the fear. She had made her choice, and she wouldn't turn back now. "We have to keep moving," Zara said after a moment, her voice firm. "We can't stay in one place for too long. We don't know when they'll find us, but we have to be ready for anything." Alex nodded, his grip on her hand tightening. "We will, but we'll face it together. Whatever happens, I'm not letting you go." The journey ahead wasn't easy. They had no plan, no safe place to go, just a vague hope that they would find a way to survive. But with every step they took, they grew more confident. Zara had always been used to being alone, to hiding from her past, but now she had someone who understood her, someone who was willing to fight for her. And that was something she had never had before. They traveled for days, moving through forests, across rivers, and into small towns where they could lay low. Zara kept her head down, staying out of sight as much as possible. Alex was always by her side, keeping watch, protecting her. It was exhausting, but it was also freeing. For the first time, they could breathe without fear of the future. One evening, as they set up camp in a secluded area, Zara sat by the fire staring into the flames. She had been thinking a lot about her past, about the mission that had brought her to Earth, and about the people she had left behind. She didn't regret leaving her mission behind, but the weight of it still lingered. There were times when she wondered if she was running away from something she couldn't escape. Alex joined her by the fire, sitting down beside her. He reached over and took her hand, offering her the comfort she desperately needed. "You're thinking about it again, aren't you?" Zara nodded, her eyes fixed on the flames. "I can't help it. I wonder if I made the right choice. I left everything behind. I left my people, my mission, and now I'm running." Alex squeezed her hand, his voice steady and reassuring. "You made the right choice. You're here now, with me. You didn't leave them behind because you wanted to. You left because you realized there's more to life than following orders. You realized that there's more to you than just being part of a war you never wanted to fight." Zara looked up at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. "But I hurt so many people. I betrayed my own kind." "You didn't betray them," Alex said, softly. "You did what you thought was right. You found a new path, a better path, and you don't have to carry the weight of that alone. I'm here. We're in this together." Zara's heart swelled with emotion. For the first time, she felt like she wasn't just running from her past. She was moving forward, building something new, something with Alex. And in that moment, she realized that she didn't have to carry the burden of her past any longer. She could let go of the fear and the guilt. It wasn't about forgetting, it was about accepting that she had the power to choose her own future. They spent the next few weeks traveling, always staying one step ahead of those who might be searching for them. Zara's strength grew with every passing day, and so did their bond. They laughed together, shared stories, and made plans for a future that was uncertain but full of possibility. With each passing day, Zara realized that the fear she had been holding on to wasn't as strong as the love she felt for Alex. He had become her anchor in a world that was constantly changing, and together they could face anything. One evening, as they sat beneath a sky full of stars, Zara leaned her head on Alex's shoulder. She had never felt so at peace, so sure of where she was meant to be. "Do you ever think about what comes next?" she asked softly. Alex smiled, looking up at the stars. "Every day, but I don't have all the answers. All I know is that I'm right, here with you. And that's enough for me." Zara closed her eyes, a sense of calm washing over her. She didn't need all the answers either. All she needed was the person beside her. Together, they would face whatever came their way. They had each other, and that was enough. And so, under the endless sky, they started their new life together. It wasn't going to be easy, but they knew that as long as they were together, they could face anything the future held. They didn't have all the answers, but they had something far more important, a love that was stronger than anything that could tear them apart.